Hi everyone, Bob Schreier here, IST 511. This is an answer to the first discussion question, although I thought I would answer over video because I know with some of the longer responses my eyes tend to cross over a little bit on themselves, so I wanted to give people the ability to rest their eyes for a minute and listen to my soothing voice. So, or shut me off, depending on how you feel about it. In any case, so we're talking about the future of user-created content, and reading some of the responses, I noticed that a couple people mentioned the digital divide, and how Ellie didn't mention it in his talk. However, the few threads that did mention the digital divide or information literacy only sort of mention it passing. And so Ellie, I feel like Ellie is right about one thing. The writing is certainly on the wall for physical collections, and for those people who were saying otherwise in the discussion thread, I think all you need to do is sort of go out and look at the wide variety of different companies over the years who refused to see the shifting demands of their populations and basically went out of business. One of the most often cited cases we've been talking about is the computer industry, the early computer industry. I talk about this a lot in IST 614, and about the theory of Drucker's theory of business, for those of you that are taking it with me. I think it's only 4 or 5. But we talk about the fact that the personal computer, people thought it was going to be just a stupid fad when it came out. Well, here's a list of those the companies' names: Control Data, Univac, Burroughs, NCR, Nixdorf, Machine Vault. You probably don't recognize any of these people because they're not around, and if you do, it's not because they're known for making PCs. IBM was among these mainframe businesses, but they ended up realizing very quickly, early on, that the PC was going to be the next thing, and that this is what people were going to want, and they devoted everything they had to it. And of course, we all know how that turned out for them. So, I think that a similar idea applies here for libraries. The idea that user-created content itself by itself, the idea that would somehow save libraries, quote unquote, I think sounds fanciful. I need a little bit more concrete proof. I need some actual ideas about what this is going to look like. And I think ultimately focusing on user-created content sort of misses the point. I think we need a completely new theory of business, as Drucker would call it. One that centers more on the clearly shifting patterns of our socio and economic environment. User-created content is just one small part of a larger overarching shift that needs to take place. That's namely the shift in vision from librarians, qua information professionals, to educators. I mentioned earlier, this starts with the idea that everyone needs information and digital education, but it ends by proving to the communities that we serve that local economies will crumble without this education. So I think we need to partner ourselves with local businesses as consultants. We need to network with schools and nonprofits and all the other manner of the local socioeconomic activity that's happening in our communities in order to create strong strategic alliances. We've done this, actually. The library program at SU has done this with Polaris. This is the exact kind of thing I'm talking about. So the idea that we should weave ourselves into the fabric of economic life of our communities. And I feel like the idea of becoming the center of user-generated information is really just small potatoes. It begs the question, who's going to teach the people to publish this content to their online portfolios, to LinkedIn, to blogs, whatever, as the job market increasingly demands it more and more. So I think that librarians simply just need to realize that they're uniquely positioned to become important players in an increasingly small network-driven market. So those are a few thoughts, and if you haven't shut me off by now, I appreciate it, and welcome any comments as well. Take care. Good night.